we're going to be using this beautiful lightning right here to unbox this guy. And you may be wondering, why would you use such a cheap knife to unbox this? Well, therein lies a clue. Not that you need a clue, because I think the title and what I just said gave you all the clues you'll need. But in case you're new here, this is a clue as to what is inside this box. Woo! The Lightning OTF. It's a classic. It is a staple in the industry. Just about everybody has one of those. But it is a clone of what's inside this box. So I picked this up pre-owned, like I do. It's awesome. It came in the box, right box. You're always kind of worried. And yes, I am chewing up some time because I can, because I like to talk to you guys and I like to talk about things. So it is what it is. I'm always concerned. Sometimes when I buy things pre-owned, ooh, I got a Band-Aid in there. Sometimes when I buy things pre-owned, just making sure there's not an actual bug in here. I kind of got myself worried with all of the, I don't know why there's a Band-Aid in here. Actually, you need this. This is a good size. I've got lots of Band-Aids, but they're usually pretty small, so that'll come in handy. I bought it online, and sometimes I get so comfortable buying online, and I do it so often that I forget to cover some of the basics. And some of those basics are, does it come in the box? Even though people will say, like new in box, they don't always necessarily understand that means actually in box. Sometimes they just think of it as, just condition and not the box part. And so there's been a few times where I bought something where I made some stupid assumptions and I get it and I'm like, anyways, here it is. Here it is. It's another Scarab. It's another Scarab. Oh my gosh, another Scarab too. Who would have thought that I would, get another Scarab? So just like my last unboxing, right, where what I wasted a bunch of time talking about on that particular video is the same thing going on here. I rebought a knife I had sold, and that's exactly what this is. Rebuying a knife I sold. I used to own one of these not that long ago, earlier this year, and I sold it, and I regretted it, and so I bought another one, just like that last one, and actually, this one's slightly better, so that's cool, or at least so far. It had a little bit of glitter on there. I'm not going to ask any questions. That's fine. It came right off. But the last one I had a little bit of a grind inclusion. It wasn't a mark or anything like that. It was just where when they ground the blade, maybe it was an old bit, maybe it was a new bit. It was just a little brighter than the others, and then you DLC it and you can still kind of see it. Not a big deal, but this one doesn't have anything like that. So that's pretty cool. I think I got a good price on this. I got a standard price on this. It wasn't good. I didn't take anybody to the cleaners. I didn't finagle anything too crazy. But I got a pretty good price on it. I would say it's a going rate for these right now, especially with the supposed reintroduction of this knife looming on the horizon. We'll see what happens there. For those that don't know, Microtech, right before Blade Show West 2023, announced the reintroduction of the Scarab 2, and they had some shadows available at the show. I don't know what exact models they had. I believe it was all shadows. I could be wrong. I don't know what configurations, because I went on day 2 and they were long gone by the time I got there. I think the assumption is that that was launching another round of production knives, soon to be seen. However, I haven't heard confirmation of that. So I find it hard to believe that Microtech would do just a super small run of these just for a show. But who knows? Who knows? I'm thinking we'll see these pop up in stores slowly, trickle through. That I'm pretty confident. I'm 90% confident you're going to see these in stores. The only question is how many. Is it a full-on production run like they did a few years ago? Or is it just going to be not as many? I don't know what the actual numbers would be for something like that. But yeah, beautiful Scarab. Really good configuration. I've got 4 production Scarabs now, and they Scarab 2s, and they kind of run the gamut of everything in terms of, I've got a drop point, shadow, double-edged shadow. The drop point's full serrated. Then I've got a drop point plain edge in the stonewash. And then I got a full serrated stonewash double edge. Boom. So not every variation, but like kind of. Everything is featured on the Scarab 2s that I have. So that's cool. Now, back to this guy. A lot of people don't know that this is a Scarab clone. Probably because it's so, or maybe everybody does. I don't know. Let me know down below. This is a Scarab clone. It's just so cloned. It's like a clone of a clone of a clone. It's so low end that it loses a lot of stuff. And of course, this is a clone of the original Scarab, not the Scarab 2. The Scarab 2 is slightly different, very much larger, very much wider. The original Scarab button, I used to have an original Scarab. I wish I still did. Looked just like this, how it's kind of comes to a higher point, thinner. It's got this big slope here, and they've simplified the concept of the grip tape windows with just this kind of shape right here. Oh, look at that. Who would have thought? A cheap OTF would fail. No, these are good. These are fun. They're fun little knives. But yeah, so this is a Scarab clone. Kind of the cheapest Scarab clone you can get. And one that's been around for a really, really long time. You can see they don't even bother with the glass breaker. Clip is just whatevs they thought would be fine. It's got these. It's got the ribbing on the side in a similar way. You can kind of see the similarities there. This is obviously way different. It's got the 8 screw on the front, which is the same. Like I said, this looks like the original Scarab, not the Scarab 2, but it does look very close to the original Scarab. So yeah, Scarab clone, super cheap, good to go, expensive, Scarab 2, DLC coated. So this is the shadow, which I think I mentioned. Basically what the shadow means is it's a completely blacked out DLC blade, DLC clip, and hardware. It does not have a DLC body though. You'll only see, I believe you'll only see DLC bodies in the customs, the hefted alloy customs. This has the standard anodization, hard type anodization on here. And then, of course, DLC blade you can see right there. But the biggest thing with the shadow is there's no logos anywhere on here except for this guy. So there is a Scarab there. The rules are confusing, but it has this, but it doesn't have any year, no serial number, nothing else on it, nothing on the blade. The blade is sterile. It's just DLC. So really, really, really kind of cool that they do these. So is that it? Is that all I wanted to talk about? You're like, all? We're at like 9 minutes for an unboxing of a knife you've already unboxed. Look how cool that is, though. Something about the shadows. I don't know. They're just awesome. These make me struggle to buy a full custom DLC because there is a custom Scarab DLC that I have my eye on, but these are just like so close and just so cool with how they don't have any of the logos on there, because that's one of the coolest things about the customs is they're so sterile. There's not any of these markings and stuff all over them, the production stuff, advertising, Microtech, or it just has like a logo engraved, and I think that's about it. Some information on the clip, and that's about it. However, the downside to the customs, we're just chatting now. We're just hanging out, so, you know, feel free to leave. You probably already did. The downside to the custom is it has the hefted frame, which is beautiful, and it's DLC'd, and DLC's pretty tough coating, but DLC, in my opinion, is not as rugged as like this hard Type 3 anodization. And so even though it's DLC'd, the customs are pretty fragile in terms of, not fragile, but in terms of the finish coming off of the body. So if you actually carry and use them, they show wear quicker, in my opinion, than something like this, and it doesn't look as good. This hard coat anodization, when this wears and you get like that aluminum showing through, it's very kind of soft, if that makes sense. It just looks cool and worn. It looks kind of like an AR-15 lower that's, you know, been used a lot. It actually kind of looks cool. The customs, however, when they get scratches on them and they get scuffs on them, it doesn't look good, in my opinion. It doesn't have the same effect of having that kind of cool, worn-in look. It just looks, I don't know, it just looks ugly because it's such a, it doesn't rub off, it like scrapes off. And so it's just bright white aluminum, and then the rest of the coating's fine. Chips are coming off, but it doesn't get that kind of soft, worn look to it. So that's one of the things with the customs, in case you cared. These scarabs kind of give you, or these shadows kind of give you a pretty good kind of feel for what those, at least the DLC blacked out customs are like. But man, these things are something about it. Something about these shadows. Something about these scarab shadows. I think it's the different finishes. You know, you've got the stone wash on the blade with the polished flats, DLC'd, and then you've got the matte anodized black, and then you've got this rubberized grip tape, and then the kind of shinier black hardware and buttons. It just looks cool. I don't know. I just like all the different textures and colors going on these. Out of all the shadows, I think the scarabs are the coolest. All right, guys, I'm done rambling. You're not still here anyways. What do you think of the shadows? If you are here, leave a comment down below. Thumbs up, subscribe, all that stuff. Talk to you guys later.